Over to you, Suresh. I think you are the chair of Nestle India. And under your chairmanship, of course, you have been adjudged as the best governed company. And therefore, governance and business responsibilities, I know, are very high on your board's agenda. Can you please share your thoughts on role of private sector in accelerating SDG in general?
Thank you, Mahendra, and a real privilege and honor for me to participate here today. Really, I speak more as a business practitioner than as an expert on the formulation or indeed of the interpretation of SDGs. And to start the tone, I think I would fully like to echo what Judge Mervyn King started with his opening presentation, which is really that the role of corporates stems also from the role that they see for themselves in a larger context and in the belief systems that they put into play as far as their boards, their management, and their people are concerned. And there are three real beliefs that I believe are important. One, that business is part of society. I think the old days of the Milton Friedman model of shareholder value maximization as being the only purpose of society of business is now, I think, falling apart. And the faster we realize it, the better we are as human beings, as corporate leaders, and indeed as corporations. So that business is part of society is belief number one. That business can catalyze change. I think for too long, the belief has been is that businesses are basically receptacles of all that is being handed out, but they can't really make much of an impact. And I think over time and over countries and continents, it has been established, and especially in Asia as well, that businesses can catalyze change. And the third belief system, I think, which is important as we move forward on goals, is really that the larger purpose of enterprise is in fact human beings in society. So I think what will far outlive us and the profits that we generate is the organizational context and culture that we put into place. Nothing is more important than what we are facing in this pandemic, which some of us have called a black swan event. Indeed, we are calling it an event unprecedented in our lifetimes. And I believe there are three factors that really drive corporates in making an impact. Firstly, building on purpose. I think many of us, and I'm privileged to work in an organization, Nestle, which is 155 years old. Long-lived organizations obviously have purpose and values at their core. That is why they have lived so long. And I think apart from economic consequences and employment outcomes, one of the areas where they contribute and where in fact they build the ecosystem for satisfying some of the SDG goals, especially in regard to reducing inequalities or indeed gender equalities, are the experience. And one of the experiences that I would like to really put forward. The fact is that Nestle has been in India for 108 years. And for almost 61 years, we have been manufacturing in the country. And all these 61 years, we have been partnering, nurturing, working together, enabling, empowering about 100,000 farmers in the Punjab. And I think Punjab has been known to be an agricultural state. It was the granary of the country, and it is a state known for its extremely hardworking, extremely diligent farmers. We began this in 1961 with 511 liters of milk collected on the first day. Started with a few farmers. Today, I'm very proud of the fact that we have sustained 100,000 farmers who have been working with us, supplying milk every single day for all these days. We empower them using the power of science and technology, veterinary science, feeding technologies, storage technologies, payment systems, building a relationship of trust. And what is especially important is that this needs to be durable also in times of extreme stress. And that is what I'm extremely proud of, that this philosophy of building enduring relationships, whether it is coffee farmers, whether it is milk farmers, whether it is spice farmers, to really work with the community. This did not happen simply because someone decided that it was part of a board agenda. It happened because a group of individuals were committed to the cause, and they said the only way we can make a successful business model in India is by this kind of partnerships. And what have we achieved? We have achieved this 100,000 farmers giving us milk every single day. And yes, during this pandemic, when most business models broke down, I'm extremely proud of the fact that as a company, we collected every drop of milk that was given by these dairy farmers to us over this period of time. I think relationships and goals depend on trust. And this trust is something that we are extremely proud of. And yes, I talked about gender equality. Long before gender diversity became a conversation in boardrooms, Nestle India achieved with its 100,000 dairy farmers a unique feat. 70,000 of these dairy farmers are women. Wow. And I think that is something that I'm extremely proud of. That 70,000 women dairy farmers decide on the fortunes of their dairy farms. They decide on when, what, and how they will expand their farms. And we have village extension workers who actually work with them on this cause. So I'm convinced of the fact that this small experiment that began with 500 liters of milk and today is 100,000 farmers and more than 300 million liters of milk that we have extended to coffee, that we have extended to spices, is one of the ways in which at the ground level, you can move beyond rhetoric and actually make something happen. And I think this is the way in which if every corporate were to come together and if every business entity were to come together and put its hands together on simple practices of sustainable, trustworthy, and enduring relationships kept over years and kept over a period of time, I think the dial can move. And this is really something that I am extremely proud of. And this is something that we also do with the most distressed sectors today, which is the micro and small and medium enterprises. We deal as Nestle with 6,500 to 7,000 vendors, of whom about 10 to 15% are these small, micro and small and medium enterprises. They would have gone belly up during the current context. They don't have the necessary financing or in fact, even the wherewithal to run their enterprises in these extremely stressful circumstances. I think we put it in a situation where our purpose was call to action. Calling purpose to action means taking the humanitarian step to move beyond profit and act with compassion. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, and you all know it much better than me because you're much wiser men and women on this call. But corporate compassion is what is needed at all times, and especially during a pandemic. So we've reached out to each and every one. One of the first questions I ask every morning of my team is, I hope no MSME has gone belly up, that they have been paid, that they've got their orders, their operations are happening, their manufacturing is taking place, we are training them. Because this is the way in which a corporate can be a banyan tree and ensure that everyone under its tree is capable of being protected at all points in time. So I believe that corporates have a very strong role to play, provided they play to purpose, they play to partnerships, and they also look at nurturing the environment in all the operations that they do. And the big word behind all this is the big C word, culture. If we build culture in organizations more than even capexes and factories, I think we will run a lot more successful companies than what we do today. Thank you, Mahendra, for the time.
Thanks, Suresh. Two very important, powerful messages, calling purpose to action. And from, capex to culture. I mean, right at the time when you start putting capex, if you start building culture, I think things will be very different. And not a single drop of milk wasted during COVID. Fantastic. My compliments to you.